What is up, y'all? It's your boy Ghost in the Zone 1 live from the 210 all day, every day. And man, it's been an eventful day, especially for all us TCG Yu-Gi-Oh players because a new Banlist just dropped. And what's better than getting out of a Tier 0 format? Yes, you heard me right. I really do think I think I know. I think I know we're gonna go into a tier or just a regular format. Not going to be some tier 0 format where tier limits just going to be running around. No, they nuked tier limits. And I'm glad they did. I really am. I really thought it was unfair how one deck, if you weren't running it, you weren't going to see half of your deck compared to what tier limits can do. Yeah, like, mill 15 cards. Let me see what I can do after that. It was crazy how Konami really said, we're going to let a deck like this run and just dominate all the tables for a good, what, like 4 months? I think it's been 4 months. January, February, like around November. Yeah, yeah, it's been like 4 months of just tier limit dominance in this tier 0 format. It's been crazy. I'm gonna give my takes on what I think about the balance and everything. I'm also gonna be talking about the future of what this format's gonna bring. So hopefully you guys stick around for all this. It's gonna be a little bit of discussion. You get to listen to my beautiful voice. Hopefully I don't say a lot or stutter too much. I'm trying to work on that. Every video I'm trying to, but we'll see. But first points I want to go over. If you guys saw my last video on how I broke into Konami, maybe stole a catalytic converter or two, this isn't a surprise. I predicted. The only surprise I will say that did happen was how hard they hit tier. I really didn't think they were going to hit tier that much with the banning of Kikalos. That was a really big hit. Now Teal'c decks are gonna have to go switch into what is it? A King of the Swamp. They're gonna have to hopefully they draw it or mill that card just so they can go into Rukalos. It's gonna be crazy to see all that happen. They don't have that mill 8 play no more. What else? And they nerfed all the shufflers since all of them are now down to 1. So the field spell's not gonna be as crazy destructive as it used to be. The shufflers now are allowing rogue decks to come back to life. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh's fixing itself. It's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm glad Tier's gone. I didn't like the format. I wasn't streaming a lot because of it. I really didn't like Tier. I don't like the idea of I need to play 60 cards out of 10,000 because we're over like 10,000 dragon, and I gotta win just mirror matches. I think that's like low skill as hell. You don't see this in fighting games where everyone's running the same team. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, yeah, you did see that in fighting it, but then people realized, oh, that kind of sucks. That's boring. Let's spice it up, let's make everybody good. So now that's how fighting games are. I mean, you play your first person shooter games, and not everybody's going to be running the same gun. I mean, I always thought variety really brings out the best in everybody. Kind of like competition, But I'm glad that tier isn't no longer gatekeeping competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, because it felt like if you weren't running tier, you had to play something that directly countered tier, and hopefully you don't play someone that's also trying to counter tier, because that would end up a whole ugly mess. Sorry, I just ate dinner. The next point I want to go over, it sucks to see it happen, but Sprite had to die for Tier's sins. It sucks. We lost Rodent Totem, we lost Sprite Elf. Those were two big hits. Now Sprite's gonna have to just make a board. Hopefully it stays on the field, because ain't no way it's recurring back unless you could run like extra reds, extra carrots. I guess that's a cool idea. There's also the Gishki package that's coming in. None of that's once per turn. I think the ritual might be once per turn. I haven't looked at it too much because I wasn't worried about it. If you weren't running tier, flu, I really didn't care, honestly. I mean, Sprite Beasteel was a thing, but you have to draw Beasteels, and why are you gonna just run a pure Beasteel deck at that point? Like, it's crazy. But yeah, it sucks that tiers or Sprite that got hit. I actually was gonna buy a Sprite deck 2 days before this ban list. I was gonna drop 120 on it, and then now I could probably buy like 3 other decks that are gonna be used in this format compared to Sprite. So really sucks to see, but it happens. Elf was a very problematic card, very generic. It had to go. Next point I want to go over. It's nice to see they finally brought back most of the good tuners off the ban list. It took a while. My previous ban, not my last ban list video I just did like this past week, the one before that, I predicted, not predicted, my bad. I saw in the files that they were gonna peel off a lot of the tuners, but they didn't. I don't know why. Maybe they were scared of Sword Soul or something, but they finally did. Glad to see them happening. I don't really see anything crazy happening with them. I mean, maybe Punk can do something. I see a lot of people picking up Punk right now and like trying to do like synchro plays. I'm looking at an Insect Pile deck myself. I'll check that out later, but we'll see. Also got some. I got some like spice cooking in the kitchen, so I'll see how that goes. My next point for the ban list. They finally listen. They finally listened to the to all my lists. Not gonna lie, they listened to the list. I was very impressed that. Not gonna lie, that a lot of it was they didn't really change much. And my predictions. Thought that was pretty crazy. I think that's pretty much everything from the ban list. Nothing too crazy. Uh, for like predictions for like the rest of the format, Cashier is not going to be the dominant force Tier was. Sad to say. Yes, it has a very high price point. I don't know why Konami made everything a secret and ultra. That really sucks. That's real. That's real bad. But hey, if you have the money and you don't have buyer's guilt like me, go for it. Do it. Go hand, go play. But just know, I don't think. Well, me personally, I don't think it's gonna be that dominant compared to Tier. Tier, you could break the board, destroy it, and all of a sudden they have the same board back up. Maybe like two interactions later. It sucked. It was horrible. Another point I want to go through. Kashtira has some glaring weaknesses, especially the hand traps and removal. So Nib is a big one. That is a very big one. Once you're trying to extend to go into your usual combos with Diablosis or trying to get that Shingra, Ira, the Satellite, whatever, and a Rise Heart, you are at risk at putting yourself under a Nib. So that's going to be pretty cool. Me personally, I'm using Crossout because I figure if they activate Nib, just cross it out. I feel like Crossout's going to be pretty crazy this format. Ghost Ogre, I think, is a pretty cool hand trap as well. You can hit the what is it? A Rise Heart? No, it's not a Rise Heart. It's a smaller the level 4. I think it's just Rise Heart. If it activates its effect and level modulate, you can just pop it with Ghost Ogre. That's pretty cool. It forces them to have another body. Forces them to have birth. Just a monster reborn. That's gonna be pretty cool. But those are 2 hand traps. I mean, there's pretty more. Maybe I'll make it like a little guide or something. Um, for the removal, Dark Hole's pretty cool. I don't really like those. Regeki's okay. I like Lava Golem, Book of Eclipse, the way to like affect everything on the field. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, it has its weaknesses. It's kind of like it's another version of Flu that can combo instead of like just normal summon Stormwinds. Okay, cool. Um, Next point, Cashier is more similar with decks like Flu and Despia, and that there's hardly any negates. Yeah, this deck has. I don't think it has a negate. I think there's a trap that nobody uses that's real gimmicky, but I think it can negate. I'm not too sure. I think it's one of the traps, unless I just never read. But yeah, like Flu and Despia, it has really no negates. Just go ham. You are gonna play under a Macrocosmos, so you're gonna have to get used to that. Um, and hopefully your opponent doesn't draw the nuts to where you're locked out of all your zones. It's very hard for a Cashier player to lock all of your zones on the first turn, so don't worry about that. Just make sure once you commit to a play, you stick to it, and don't just randomly like shotgun a monster effect, because at that point you might have just lost right there. Another point I wanted to make up, Bestials are not going to be very prevalent this coming format. As when I was testing with Kashtira, I saw it was very common for there to not be anything in the graveyard. Bestials, they need to have a light in the dark in graveyard. Kashtira also is not light and dark. So if Bestials are going to hit the field against a Cash player, it's probably going to be their own monsters. That is not going to be like beneficial in the slightest. And I mean, Bestials really stopped, or like, it really just hit tier, really. Hit a lot of graveyard. I mean, there's a random rogue decks. I mean, Bestials, I think, completely destroy rogue decks, and I'm probably gonna. Me personally, I think Bestials are gonna be in the side. I'm looking forward to that, but yeah, they're not just gonna be as prevalent as they were this past format. Rogue, like I said, it's gonna be playable again. Just expect to learn how to play under Macrocosmo. That's about it. There's some rogue decks I do think that'll come back. I said Despia, Runic, Rika person. I mean, if you saw the press videos for the Challenger series, I got second place with Rika. Think the main issue was shufflers, and now all those decks that are graveyard centric, they don't have to worry too much about shufflers. But it's nice to see Sword Soul, Math Mech, any graveyard dot deck. It looks like they're alive and well. And the last point I do want to bring up, our back row decks finally gonna come back because Labyrinth. I don't know. I thought about buying Labyrinth like within 5 minutes of the ban list, but then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna support the next badass looking archetype that the artwork isn't just waifu dot deck. So, but that's pretty much my thoughts about the whole ban list and the whole next format. So drop your comments down below. Let me know I'm wrong. Let me know I'm right. Let me know that you love me. And till then, I'm gonna catch y'all later. I love y'all so much. I'm probably gonna have a lot of content coming up. I think my love for you is coming back. So we'll see. So anyways, I love y'all so much. Catch y'all later. Peace.